I did, and I wasn't really sure what to make of it. I had never been lucky enough to be part of something that sustained and got to keep going for as long as this has. So I just assumed I would go film these first 4 episodes, and then that would be that. It would not go anywhere. But then once I read the scripts and I saw everyone's performances, I saw that it was different from other, Bible projects that I had seen. There was way more humanity, and and then it kind of took off from there. But all of working with these people made it to where there's not, you don't feel as much pressure. You're able to kind of relax and just do it.
Yeah. When I first auditioned for The Chosen, we only got the first 4 episode scripts, and it was building the backstories of the disciples. So in Matthew's journey, you're not seeing anything we see in scripture, you're just seeing how he was before he was called. And that was exciting for me to kind of dig into that and then develop him and flesh him out. The pressure came actually the season we started filming in Utah in season 2. After The Chosen kind of did its thing and went viral during the pandemic. And for me, I remember feeling a little nervous about it, but then I kind of used that put it into Matthew, and the rest is history, I guess.
I guess didn't feel that much pressure, just going into in the beginning going into it, and then doing auditions, sitting in a tape. It was just normal, the way it works with. You can feel it.
You want this whole
It comes off. Oh, it comes off. Yeah.
Oh, again, this is our first time.
At least we're bringing you in,
FanX, you love us, please.
We don't know how to act around people sometimes.
At least you're sitting down in the chairs and not like in the audience, that would
Yeah.
Oh my God. So in the way with whenever we get tapes, we just have them roll through, and then we do a tape or go into a room, do the audition, hopefully just forget about it, and then maybe we hear, maybe we don't from the production if we have gotten the role. So this was kind of one of them for me, where it was just in the lineup, do it, send it, and go about my day, and then heard that I got it, and I didn't realize how special it was to me until I got to set and met with the people that were a part of it, worked with the people that were a part of it, and that was the most beautiful part for me. And then, like Paris was saying, the pressure came when we were in Utah, and then we were staying at a hotel, and how there were just sometimes people, it happened maybe like once a week, where someone would be like, oh my gosh, that's Matthew, or that's whoever, and you're like, that's little James, and that's little James.
Or little John.
You got a little Thomas earlier.
I got a little Thomas.
I got a Thomas too.
That was way off. Yeah.
And so once that started happening, we're like, oh, people are watching. People are like watching the show, and that's when I felt pressure. It's like now, people are just watching.
But even though your character's like not in the New Testament, your role plays such a huge role in the show.
No.
I don't know what.
Now, I say she is in the, but she doesn't have a name. That's all.
Okay,
That's all. I feel like she is. That's how I see her. That's how I see a lot of these female characters. Is they're not in the name or in the Bible by name or in the stories by name, but they were there as a follower of Jesus. So I love that The Chosen and our writers have given them.
Amen. Well, I want to keep talking to you guys, but we have a lot of people that want to too. So we have a microphone. We have a microphone right here if y'all want to line up.
What's the story behind this Kleenex?
I was in my tears.
Oh, I'm sorry.
She's crying laughing.
Happy tears.
All right, let's move this for short people. We have a mic person that makes this for short people. Awesome.
you from here. It's less
Yeah, we can hear you if we're talking to it. And I know that I'm loud, so I could go without this completely, but anyways. If you didn't see, my hoodie says, the last thing that Roma said to Thomas as she's dying, it says, stay with him. That's what she was like, oh. Anyways, so, this is my standard FanX question actually. When is a time that you were recognized unexpectedly that was like impactful when you realized what you were doing in the world?
Oh, I was just going to say that anytime, like, there was one instance, it's always like really sweet when people come up and say hi or say they watch the show. But unlike another, like, probably like a superhero movie or something where people come up and they're like, oh, I love the movie, can I get a picture? And that's kind of it. With us, this story is so important to so millions of people's faith, so it's a much deeper connection. Like, people will come up and we've had several people like cry, and it's so sweet that like there's that kind of bond between us and the fans. But the ones that have, some of the ones that have really stuck out to me are when kids come up and recognize us, or I had a young girl with cerebral palsy like myself who just got cast in her first play, and she talked about seeing little James in this show made her feel like she had a place in this industry. So that was something that meant a lot to me. So those always are really special interactions.
Yeah, for me, one of the first comments and feedback I was getting when we started with the show was a father came up to me and said, thank you for allowing me to understand my child more. Because when they were, I'm gonna try not to get emotional. Because when they, thank you, and like Matthew, I'll stare at something while I tell the story. Their child was watching an episode, and Matthew kind of popped on the screen, and they said, Matthew's just like me. And that father explained that it allowed them to connect and communicate with their kid more. And then from then on, I got countless stories. I was recently in Brazil premiering season 4, and I had someone there tell me I didn't even know what the term for autism was until I watched the show. So thank you for doing that. So those are moments where I realized what the impact of The Chosen is around the world and for everyone here. Look at it.
It helps when you're just like looking down. My absolute favorite moments are children. Anytime I get a chance to talk to kiddos about it, but usually it's a good reminder whenever people say, which I wasn't expecting. You do a project. Each one has a different meaning, goal, is why you're doing it, and so I just was not expecting the comments of thank you for doing the show. It's allowed me to find my faith again, or it's led me back to my faith. And what's important to me about that is as I started talking to more people who were giving me the same comments, it's different faiths, so it's not even one faith, which I personally really appreciate. It's maybe not even a religious faith, it's just faith in whatever, faith in life, faith in just living, faith, there's so many, everyone has their own different backstories about it and what faith means to them, and I can talk about faith. I love faith, I love discussing it because we all have a different connection to it, I think, and even with my castmates, I love talking about it too. So no matter what kind of faith they find, it's nice to know that what we're doing, what we're creating is helping people with finding that.
Amen.
Hi. So in The Chosen, there's a lot of heavy, intense moments, and I want to know. Well, I love all the little comedic moments that they throw in. So I want to know, what was a line or moment that you thought was really funny in The Chosen?
When Baby James.
Oh, Baby James. So that was.
Anything about the fart?
No, that was funny.
We have a lot of comedic moments.
There's one line that on paper it wasn't funny, but we could not get through it. So it was one of my lines, and I'm asking Simon, I say to Simon, you must be proud of your brother. But in the accent, you must be proud of your brother. And there's a lot of R's, and you gotta roll those R's. And I could not do it, so I was like, you must be proud of your brother. And it took forever. Pars couldn't look at me. Yeah.
Everyone on the cast knows not to look at me if there's something funny or there's a blooper. I'm just breaking, and I just like so whenever he would do that scene, he intentionally would look at me, and I would just be looking at the table, because he'd be like, your brother,
Yeah. What's your funny
Are
moment?
those both eagles?
What did I say first?
You said David James.
Oh, yeah, it was that same scene.
Oh, it was, yeah.
Jonathan decided to throw in a baby Jane.
Yeah, sweet baby Jane.
Yeah, sweet baby Jane. And it was during my close-up, so you see me just go. I told Matthew, I'm like, what did he just say?
My favorite, I think we were all there, I'm pretty sure, unless you got to go home early, was we were all saying, it's always so funny whenever it's like a very sentimental moment, but usually some of those, it's like the funniest stuff that we have, so it's very sentimental. I think it was season 4. We're all basically trying to set up camp for the night, and we have to say a prayer.
Yeah.
And none of us knew.
No one knew the prayer. So we thought, because it only in the script said, I think just Andrew says the prayer.
No, it was, we all had, in the script, it was broken up to where like, each disciple had like one line of the prayer. So we all memorized our one line, and we got there and Dallas was like, oh no, you're all saying the entire prayer. And it's like a 2-paragraph prayer. And we're like,
So during lunch, we're all just sitting there with our fingers
Yeah.
shredded.
What's funny is that like, we're actors, so we always just look for what our character says. So we forget to search all sometimes. So a lot of times during the prayer moments, it causes Dallas to.
we've had to like buckle up and memorize some things on short notice on several occasions.
Luckily for me, I didn't need to study that prayer because I had just had a moment with Jesus in forgiveness, and I was in my
Right,
feelings.
we went home.
So I was making my tent and about to go to sleep.
Oh, hi. Sorry, I got a couple of kids here.
Hello. Hey, buddies. Hello.
Yeah.
I know.
So, just real quick for you. Obviously, you know, the Chosen's based off of the Bible, and I was just kind of curious how you balance kind of the respect for the source material and not straying too far, but at the same time, kind of putting your own spin and emotional depth and maybe yourself into the characters.
I think the writers have done a great job at striking that balance. Dallas has always talked about they're never going to put something in there that's contradictory to the stories in the Bible, but there's so much, like for Little James, for instance, he's mentioned by name like 3 times, and there's no details about him. You don't know what traits he had, what kind of personality he had. So there's a lot of gaps they needed to fill in order to make that a character that audiences could resonate with and relate to and grow to love. And I think they did such a beautiful job, not just with Little James, but with all the characters of fleshing them out.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It's
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing.
Ryan, Tyler, and Dallas. So it starts with them and just how they've written the characters. And they also are very collaborative too. So if we ever have any questions or ideas. So yeah, bringing us into it then, because we've played the characters now for a good few years. You know, we go in and we talk to them and give them our suggestions about something, and then they say no, and then and then we just the kids.
Yeah.
Did they bump heads?
Oh, we're having a great time.
Me and you do that. That's us. So it's them. It's Dallas, Tyler, and Ryan, and they don't say no all the time. They sometimes say yes. And our suggestions.
What I love about our writers on the show is, especially with Matthew's backstory, it's creative license, so they're adding things that they feel is plausible, and that allows all of us and the audience to kind of adapt to it and relate to it and gives us a new perspective, so we see something from a different lens, and you know, they really serve the source material at the highest that they do. And it's just been great, because it's been great.
Yeah, I agree.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. My name is Odin, and my mom wanted to make sure I tell you guys that she thinks you guys are awesome. And my question is, how is it like to act as one of the disciples of Jesus Christ?
I feel like for us, it's a little like going back to pressure. I feel like with us, like our characters are all flawed and messed up, and there's so much of us in our characters too. So it's really, for me, therapeutic getting to express some of the same frustrations or fears that I have had in my real life through little James. Yeah, it's such I can't imagine ever playing a role that I'm able to know as deeply as I've grown to know little James, and I'm forever grateful for that.
I didn't tell your mom that we said you're awesome. You know, same thing with what Jordan said. I just feel that I've learned a lot about myself and my capabilities in portraying Matthew, but I've also become Matthew in a way where I was sharing with someone earlier that I lock my door multiple times, or I have to check my apartment before I leave it, like to make sure nothing's out of order. Like, so it's kind of a merge happening, but it's been nothing but an honor to portray one of the most popular scribes in history. So it's been kind of cool to discover myself through that journey too.
Thank you.
I'm Deanna, and I was just wondering what are you guys' favorite Christmas movies?
That's the hardest question.
Serendipity. Have you seen it? Every year I like to watch it. Yeah. And Love Actually. I'm sorry, that's two. So many.
I don't know if you would be allowed to watch this film, but I'm sorry, I watch Just Friends a lot.
It's a fun one. Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, Ron Forrest. I just like movies that make me laugh.
Yeah. I love Christmas Vacation.
Yeah.
And a lot of people wouldn't agree. I think Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
It's a Wonderful Life.
The best Christmas pageant ever. We've got to give a shout out.
I knew you would do that. I knew you were going to be the one that did that.
Hi, my name is Jaden, and I was just wondering what's your favorite Christmas movie, and what's the meal to go with it?
What? Meal.
I mean, milk and cookies seem like the obvious answer.
How do you like your cookies?
What do you mean? Like what kind of cookie?
Medium rare.
Some people like it crunchy, some people like it soft, some people...
I like it. I like just basic chocolate chip cookie that is really. That's really like. I like it when it's a little gooey. Like yeah.
Do you dip the cookie? If there's a strategy, everyone has their own strategy. Do you dip the cookie in the milk? Or do you take a bite of the cookie first and then you drink the milk?
I'm not a psychopath.
Such deep conversations happening on this panel. I love it. What is your favorite Christmas movie?
Probably The Nightmare Before Christmas.
I love stop motion, so yeah.
It's so good. What was your favorite song on that one? Because the music is incredible.
I really like basically all of them.
I know all the songs are so good. God, that one's good.
What's
What would
your
you
Christmas
eat?
movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like what?
What would you eat with it?
Whatever.
Eat.
Oh,
Your meal.
probably ice cream.
What kind? I love desserts.
Gelato and cookies and cream.
Oh,
We haven't eaten lunch yet. Yeah, we can tell we're very hungry.
food questions.
No more food questions, please. Is it cold? Is it crispy? What does it taste like? Like your cookies.
Pleasure to meet you. Name's Michael. A couple years ago, I know you guys suffered a bit of a tragedy with the deaths of, I think his name was Raimundo Cruz and Juan Aguilar, who were killed in a car accident. And I wanted to kind of get your guys' take on perhaps how that affected production, how that may have affected your performance, and what we can take when it comes to, like what we can take from this when it comes to working through tough times or working through tragedy.
So that was actually a different show called The Chosen. That was shooting
Chosen One.
The Chosen One, yeah. But we got a lot of comments from that, like during that time. I even got scared when I first saw it. I saw like something about The Chosen and got nervous. I didn't know what was going on. But as a cast, we have, we've been doing this now since 2018. And we've grown so close to each other and have been there with each other during some like really hard times in our personal lives and really happy times through deaths and through, like new additions to our family. We've had so many chosen babies over the last few years. It's really like having this group of people, this chosen family, has been incredible to be able to experience all that with. Like, there's never a time where we're alone. We talk throughout the off season. We're there for each other when we need one another, and it's whatever happens in life, even long after The Chosen's done, it's reassuring knowing that I have these people that I can go to.
I just wanted to thank you for being here.
Thank you. We love it. We're welcome here. Awesome.
And I just have one more comment, not a question. I really appreciate how it's been written and how you've put yourselves into this. It makes everything about Jesus Christ and everybody around him so approachable. It's so important. So you all three have already said that as you began this journey, it was 4 episodes and it was whatever. It was another job, is what it sounded like. I want to know for each of you, when did it become more than just another job? When did you realize, wait a minute, what am I part of here? And how did it change your life and how did it affect you?
I did not actually see it more as a job. I needed a job. I was not financially secure like my friend Matthew was at the time, but I saw his journey and I knew I had to tell that. I knew what it felt like in the initial episodes of what it feels like to not be seen or to be spit on or just have people tell you your worth when that wasn't really your worth, that you're more than that. So I wanted to tell this story through the lens that The Chosen decided to portray Matthew as being neurodivergent. So I was excited about it and I let that challenge me. But as the seasons went on, I found my own confidence in telling Matthew's journey the way the show, we were communicating with the show and just developing it like a team. So it actually made me want to take more risks and more choices in telling Matthew's story. So I found myself opening up more through Matthew. And so from the beginning, it was just a project that I knew I wanted to be a part of because I knew it would bring so much light to so many people, but also so much acceptance to a community that wasn't traditionally seen on something like a TV show like The Chosen or other shows that are not The Chosen.
I wasn't expecting to be on The Chosen for as long as I have been, which I've been so grateful for that. So I really just thought I would be, coming in and assuming everyone's watched this season. I was only in 1 episode in season 1, the Water to Wine episode, and it was. So I didn't know that there would be more than that for me. So then when I was asked to come back, and then we didn't interact that much. I didn't interact with the disciples that much for that episode, so I didn't really have a chance to work with them as much as they worked with each other. And so it wasn't until we started shooting season 2 here in Utah, and now we're all staying at the same hotel, and now I'm getting
When the pressure started.
when all the pressure started. But then that's probably what brought us together, because we had all this pressure, and so
It was also COVID, the height.
and it was also COVID, lots of things going on, and so we because of COVID, we really only had each other, and we had to be in a bubble. We couldn't see people, and so we could only see each other and hang out with each other, whether we liked it or not. But I liked it. And so that was when it kind of all gelled for me, was getting to be in the field with them, getting to set up camp with them, doing the day in, day out of working with our crew, with the cast, and doing spit tests for COVID together.
That was so gross. We had to, there was because there's so many different COVID tests and iterations of them over the years, and there was one, you had to just spit in this little vial and fill it up to a certain line, so we'd all just be standing in a circle.
Yeah, but Jordan would come up to you and be like this while he's spitting.
Big eye contact.
Staring you down while you're...
It was gross. Sorry.
No, that was just going to conclude it.
For me, that was a huge part. Season 2 is when I think our relationships kind of went to the next level, where it felt more like a family. So that was big. But then on a personal note, I think for me, I knew the show itself was taking on this life that I never anticipated before. But then after Little James, his scene with Jesus came out, that's when, for me personally, everything changed. Because prior to that, I had accepted my own disability. I had accepted my circumstances because we had already addressed Little James's disability on the show, which was scary at first. But then doing that, it shined a light on this thing I was incredibly insecure about, that had negatively impacted my career up to that point. And we were shining a light on it now. So I had to accept my circumstances, but then after doing that scene with Jesus, and then hearing from all of you, and people within the disabled community, it helped me to go from just accepting my limp to loving it, and loving that about myself. And for that, The Chosen could end tomorrow, and that's the thing that I think I'll carry with me more than anything else for the rest of my life, is that newfound love that I found for myself.
Hi, I'm Lindsay. Also, how do you pronounce your name? Is it Paris?
Horace.
Horace. Okay.
Thank you for asking.
Yeah. I just didn't know, but I would just like to know that as you were talking about how you were becoming Matthew, you were staring right at your name tag as you were telling that story, kind of like what Matthew does when he's telling stories. So yeah, I thought that was funny, but I love the show, and I think that it is so incredibly unique and genuine, which is something that you don't really see a lot of nowadays. So, and I could just I can just kind of feel the faith journeys of each of the characters, but then also the people behind the characters. So I've always been so curious, because The Chosen has just kind of been there as I've been through my faith journey. What has it done for you guys in your faith journey?
For me, I think that The Chosen, and I think the same is true for so many fans, but it's shown Jesus in a way that is so relatable and accessible, and it doesn't feel like this out of reach, solely divine thing like a lot of other portrayals. That part is still there in Jonathan's portrayal of Jesus, but there's just so much humanity. There's humor, there's pain, there's grief, there's anger, there's frustration. And for the first time I was able to, because I grew up, going to church as a kid and went to an Episcopal school, but it felt very rigid. There wasn't like the personal aspect of it. And The Chosen has really shown that side of it to me that I never really experienced growing up. And I think that's why it resonates with so many people of all faiths. We have Muslim fans, we have atheist fans of the show that have reached out that love it, and that's the main reason is the humanity of all the characters, but in particular Jesus. So for me, that was the biggest shift in showing Jesus in a way that I had never really considered before.
And very, very similar as well. I want to talk to some folks here today about me going through as I was growing up, me going through the ups and downs of faith, religion. My dad's Muslim, and then my mom is Catholic, and I just think did such an incredible job at sharing both of their religions growing up in our household. So I went to the mosque and I went to church, and we celebrated the holidays for both. And for me, what I took away from that growing, again, just as a child, was, they're so the same. To me, that's what it was. At least that's how my parents, I don't know what kind of conversation they had about how we're gonna raise our children. But for them, that's how they portrayed it to me, was they just seem very much the same. Of course, nuances, and I get that. But I think they just were amazing at that. And then, you become a teenager and you want to rebel, so I went through that phase. And going through, that's when I started exploring for myself and asking the questions and wanting to figure it out on my own. And that's when I started college was when I started getting more into religion, of just the questions. I didn't have a religion or anything. So it was interesting, and then I just didn't really care anymore, because it's just too much, and it's too messy, and it makes everyone a little, it's confusing, and angry, and all of this. And to me, it didn't seem like it only caused rifts within people, and unless we all believe in the same thing. And then Chosen, with that, I think that's why it hits me so much whenever earlier I was saying when people of different faiths and backgrounds say that this show touches them, because that's what it did for me. And it kind of made it more tangible in a way, instead of, because even growing up, watching any Bible Project or anything, but everything just seemed like it was perfect, and like the world was perfect, and it just wasn't. I just didn't come across any project that was like The Chosen, where what I love about it is the humanity. I love that we get things wrong in the show. I love that we make mistakes in the show, and I love that is so embraced. And because then I felt like I was seen just as me, and I'm like, oh, I can be myself, and I can make a mistake, and I'll learn from it, and it's okay, and to not bash myself or beat myself over the head about it. So it just made it more tangible and relatable. And yeah, I think Jesus would be funny too. So that's why I love the humor that we had. I'm like, why wouldn't he say that's hilarious? He's a hilarious dude.
And also, just because these characters have met Jesus, they don't have it all figured out, and they still met, like Mary Magdalene relapses and things like that, and I love his response to it. It's like, did you really think you would never fall again? And it's probably not the last time she'll fall. Like, it's something that the characters are not perfect. So that as well took the pressure off, because as a kid, I think there's pressure to be perfect. Like, you don't want to upset God. And I think that once you see the humanity in it and the love, it's like, it makes you not as afraid to be human and to mess up.
Sorry. I think we have time for one more question.
My name's Elon, and my question is for all of you. Which scene from the Bible is your favorite to film?
14 hours rocking back and forth on that boat.
And freezing.
In rain, fake rain, but then just as we get dry, they drenched us again, and we just repeated that.
Yeah, as soon as you started to warm up,
Yeah.
your clothes are still damp and you're getting warm, and then they're like, okay, reset, and then you hear the machine turn on, and like the waves would start going, and it sounded like an army marching toward, like it was like this thudding, like this thud noise, and there's like surrounded by this blue screen. It was really cool, movie magic. What about you?
Y'all hit that so well, because no one knew where you guys were.
That was the
What y'all
first
were
thing we
doing.
shot that season.
I know,
too.
that's
We
so-
weren't allowed to tell anyone what we were.
I know. I was like, where are y'all? Where are my friends? I'm like asking, like, you want to hang out? And then I didn't know, no one's like saying anything.
I
about
texted her back. We were on a boat getting wet and dry and wet all night. It was the best. Especially when the cockroaches got in the water and then they made their way to you in the waves.
And so
Water beetles or whatever. They look
sorry, yeah. And sorry, this might be too much information. I don't have a long warning period if I have to use the restroom, and it's an ordeal getting out of that boat. The boat that we had to like be taken out there on like a canoe basically, and then climb into the boat because the boat is stuck in place because they didn't want it moving all around the pool. So I didn't eat dinner either of those nights up here there because I was afraid. I was like, I don't want this to go through me and then have to like cut during a scene or swim to the bathroom. So I was starving the whole time. It was all night. Like it was brutal, but it was like the end result made it all worth it.
So for me, I was thinking, I really love any of the night scenes that we do, just because people get really delusional and goofy, and the things that come out of our mouths and stuff. Like everyone there's no hope. And then I was wondering, okay, which one of the night scenes did I absolutely love? And I think my favorite one is probably the very first time that I joined Chosen in season 1 in the episode for the water to wine. And that was just a big party, obviously, because we were filming a wedding, so we were all just dancing and having fun. I think the majority of that week were night shoots, maybe Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And that was also the end of the season as well. That was our wrap, and we all left. And so I think just there's something about that's so beautiful. The last scene that I shot, I'm figuring this out as I'm talking. The last scene, I just remember the last scene that we shot and then ended the day, and we were trying to get it before the sun came up, was me and Thomas looking at Jesus, and Thomas telling me he asked us to join him, and that's the end of the episode as well. And then we all left. But I think it was that for me.
I want to say one more, just a quick teaser for season 5. The Last Supper was...
Oh, yeah. I didn't know if we could talk about that. Well, it's obvious, but I just said the way we did it.
Yeah, I won't talk about the way it's structured.
You guys need to
There's already a
start
lot of
stocking up.
spoilers out in the
Yeah.
world about what's happening next.
But it was a whole week of night shoots, and it was exhausting. Yeah, a couple of us got COVID because I was stocking up on vitamins and pork because I knew we were all going to be drinking out of the same cup, and it didn't matter. But it was worth it because there was such a beautiful scene and there was so much emotions, and as you know, this isn't a spoiler if you've read the Bible, you know, but like it's kind of a goodbye to two of the characters in a sense, to Jesus and Judas. So because of that, like for us, that was towards the end of the season, and it was kind of bittersweet because as people, we love Luke, and it's with where his character is heading. It's kind of like one of the last times he's with us in our group in the show, and it's that was really emotional, and I can't wait for y'all to see it. It's a really beautiful scene.